first one are the golden roses, and if you haven't heard of that, it's actually a Valentine's gift, and a lot of women have been getting those roses from their husbands or significant others for a very long time, and you get one rose for each Valentine. And so a lot of women obviously have like 10 or 15 roses, but I feel like right now on TikTok it has become a trend to show off the roses, and honestly I'm pretty sure by the next Valentine people have already forgotten about these roses, so I don't think that is worth buying, worth putting in your effort, because at the end of the day next year there's gonna be a next trend. The second one are the Linux Village boxes, and they're so cute, so I 100% understand why so many people want to buy them. If you haven't heard of that, those are basically really teeny tiny boxes for pepper, salt, just any types of spices that you have, and I think they're like 24 or 42, something like that. So there are a couple of these, and it's kind of like an entire village. Years back they actually had these sets and it was limited edition, so it went away, but people loved them so much the last 2 years, so the company brought them back and they are so cute. You can buy the entire set or buy them separate on their website, but what I've noticed is that I don't know anybody who uses that many spices, and even if you use a lot of spices you probably use way more salt and pepper and chili rather than the other ones, and they're so tiny that I generally don't think that people who use spices frequently could ever use them. I just don't think they're worth buying at all based on these reasons. They're just famous, it's a trend, and it's more so for display purposes and decoration rather than for their actually use. Oh, and if you like book or lifestyle content, subscribe to this channel. The next are Labubus. Now hear me out, I don't like them. I kind of do think they're a bit ugly and they're a bit scary to even look at. I feel like most people are just buying them because it's trendy, it's fun to invest in them, it's fun to look at them, it's like a cute toy, but it's just simply not worth buying a huge amount because this just becomes like an overconsumption thing. People just buy it to show off to other people and they don't want to have it for themselves, they just want to show that they can afford it and can buy so many of them. This also goes for Stanley cups, which I know they're kind of like a bit out of trend already, but that's something that I've never really cared for. First, they're huge, so I feel like it's only for people in America specifically. If you have a car and you can put your Stanley cup in, and only if you actually have like a desk job as well, so you kind of like have your Stanley cup in front of you. But it's not necessarily for people who don't have a desk job or don't have a car that they're constantly using so they can drink from their Stanley cup. It's not worth it because it's kind of like a huge bottle that you have with you constantly. And I also don't care much for blind boxes because the entire purpose is that it's a blind box, so you don't know what's in it, and I personally hate surprises like that. When I'm buying something, I want to know what's in it, because if I don't know what's in it, then I don't feel very comfortable with buying it. And it would only make sense if at the back of the box you could see exactly what you're getting, but that's not the case because then it wouldn't be a blind box. The next is the new It bag, and while I personally love bags and I generally do think that is worth buying because I use my bag every single day, what I've noticed is that years back when I was younger, Michael Kors bags were the a thing. I know now it's Polan, it's probably like changing as well and there's a new thing coming up, but I remember specifically I loved it so much that I really wanted one, and so my aunt actually gifted one to me and I ended up never using it because I was so afraid that I could scratch it, I could misuse it, water or juice could spill in it, and never ended up using it. And what I realized is it's simply just not worth buying these bags if you're not gonna use it, and I don't feel comfortable using bags that are expensive or are an investment because that's simply not something that I would feel comfortable using every single day. And so I've noticed is what's way easier is to buy discount bags. So even if you want that bag, just wait until it's discounted or just buy it at an outlet store, because then at least you're not paying the entire price for it. The next one is an insane one because it's matcha, specifically from stores, and I love matchas. I do drink them almost every single day because it's such a good comfort drink. I love them, but I've noticed that this one time I actually went to a coffee shop and bought a matcha, and it was just the same matcha that I would drink at home. So I was like, why did I spend so much money on it? It wouldn't make any sense to me. And so I've realized that maybe I should just make matchas at home. The only time it's worth buying is if it's an exotic drink and let's say they have like strawberries on the bottom or a specific syrup that I'm not gonna purchase different syrups for this, then yeah. But for this year I definitely want to reduce my store-bought matchas. You don't have to completely cut everything off, but I wouldn't buy anything that doesn't have a different flavor than the regular matcha. The next one is the newest iPhone. Now, I don't think it's worth ever buying a new digital product or a new technology unless you are a YouTube reviewer or let's say it's part of your job, because buying new technology, not just that it's legit a waste of money, but it's also like destroying the environment, and we know how important it is to kind of just preserve and use the same technology every single year. With my iPhone specifically, I actually own the iPhone 16 and I bought it last year because I actually owned one for around 4-ish years, and the battery life was so bad that it charges at least like 2 or 3 times, which didn't make any sense anymore. So I bought the new one, and I do like to use them for like 4-ish years, or at least as long as they last, because iPhones are an investment piece. And even though I genuinely think we do need phones and it's become such a normal part of our life, that of course goes for any other laptop that's coming out. I'm not gonna buy anything new unless the last ones that I have are like completely dead and destroyed, and usually it is the battery life that is the weakest part. The next are hair tools, and I love hair tools, but I'm so glad that I have a sister. We usually exchange hair tools because we share the same ones. We have one drawer for both of us. I love that because if she buys something, I get to use it and vice versa, so we don't have to buy duplicates of things. That being said, I do have the Shark Styler, and at that time I got a really great deal because the new one was coming out, and so I bought the old one. Other than that, I just don't think you need that many hair tools. I bought too many myself. I don't think the next hair tool is gonna change our lives, which is always like the suggestion of all these marketers, but for now I am simply done buying any hair tools. The next are eyeshadow palettes, and I think that's something that most people don't think about, but when was the last time that you hit pan on every single eyeshadow in a palette? That just simply never happens. Or when is the last time that you hit pan on one or a couple of these eyeshadows? It is so rare. Now I know people can do that, but I have never done that, and I personally have loved my eyeshadow palettes. I have used them so often, especially because I used to love practicing my eyeshadow makeups. So I used to sit down whenever I had time, and I used to do it for hours. And you guys, I have yet to hit pan. I don't know how people hit pan on eyeshadows. That is like an almost impossible thing. So I have bought like I think 2 great palettes, and I've decided that 2 great palettes are enough and you don't need more than that, and I think those palettes are enough for me. So no more eyeshadow palettes for this year or ever probably. Now we're going into hair care and skincare as well. I have too many hair care products. I am guilty for that. I know I am so bad, so bad at that. Like I'm definitely a shopaholic when it comes to hair care products. That is my fundamental weakness, and like sweaters. That being said, I don't want to buy anymore because I have so many. So I love doing shop my stash with me, just because I have so many that I want to rotate and I want to use them all up. And instead of buying new ones, I've realized that there is nothing that is so amazing that it will change your life. Yes, there are a couple of products that are really amazing, but for the products that I have right now, I generally don't believe that there is anything out in the market that is going to be superior to all of this. Because when I was younger, every single time I bought a new product, I was like, hey, this product is going to change my life and change my hair care routine. And I think at some point I started to use luxury or these high-end products, and they're all just similarly good. So I don't think I actually got the benefit of it in the later years. So I decided that I have to stop buying these products. Pray for me, I need help. That also goes for skincare, but for a completely different reason. With skincare, I've noticed that you just need tretinoin, a really good moisturizer, and that's about it. If you really want something, you can still use like an AHA, BHA. You don't really need much. That is like 2 or 3. There's like 3 different products, and the maximum you can do is the hyaluronic acid. You can't need more than that. And I've noticed that I've tried so many different products, and I think it's time to stop it, especially because I have phases. So I start to buy so many products because I use so much, and then I stop using it, and then all of a sudden I start using, and then I start buying again, and I noticed that I need to stop. Currently I'm not using any, but I know during the summertime I'm probably gonna start using a bit more, and therefore I really need to stop buying stuff and look into my stash, because I do have a couple of products, not as much as hair care, but I definitely want to focus more on this mentality that what do I have at home and can I actually use something from my house stash instead of buying something new. And especially if you rotate stuff, it does feel like it's a new product. The next are perfumes, specifically diptyque perfumes, because they're so famous right now. They're all over the place, and honestly I've kind of just bought like a lot of perfumes because I was obsessed. I will give into that, and I've noticed that honestly I actually was looking for one perfume for weeks on end, and I finally got such a great deal. So when the package came, I actually was like, what is this? And I opened it up and it was that perfume, and that was the moment that I realized I don't even care about this perfume that much. Like, it is so ridiculous how we care more for the hunt and we care way more about actually trying to find the product for the right price, that when the product comes we're like, whatever, it's a new thing. So specifically for perfumes, I've noticed that whenever I want more perfumes and want to buy more, I just go back to what I have and I'm like, have I used this? And there are a couple of perfumes that I really wanted when I was younger, and then now they're just lying around and I'm not even using it. My younger self would be so disappointed in me if I did not use, let's say, the Mystere one, which is my fundamentally like my favorite perfume of all times, and I haven't been using it as much as I thought that I would. So it's time for me to use my perfume. The next is British merch, or just any type of merch, because I've yet to find a person who actually regularly wears their merch. Most people just don't do it because they just buy it in the moment and they really want to have it. With British, there is constantly merch coming out, which makes absolute sense because season 4 is going on right now. At the same time, it is so obvious that they split up season 4 in volume 1 and volume 2, so in between people have enough time to buy more. And while it's so cute everything that there is, I generally don't think we need merch for every single season. At least I don't need to buy it, I can just look at it and appreciate it. The next are cups, and I'm so guilty of that. If you have seen all these cute cups on the internet, I'm in love with that, especially because I love matcha so much. But honestly, I don't think I appreciate the cups I already have if I buy more. I only have like 2 or 3, so it's not like a huge cup collection, but I know if I bought more I would never appreciate what I have, because then you have so many and you stop caring about it, and that is something that I don't want to buy anymore, especially now with Easter, with Valentine's Day, and then the summer coming up. Every single holiday has its own collection, and honestly I used to love going to TK Maxx and look at all the new collections. I really wanted to have each cup for each holiday, but then I realized that a lot of these cups are cheaply made, bad quality, and because of that you can't even put that in a dishwasher, and I don't think I want to own something like that, because if I can't use it like that, I don't want to wash it with my hands every single time. It's just so inconvenient. The next are red light therapy masks, and now hear me out, I don't think it's a scam or anything like that. First of all, I need way more research on this, and the second thing is that I generally don't believe that a lot of these inexpensive masks are actually worth buying because their light is probably not strong enough. Years back I actually bought like a really small red light therapy lamp. The light was not good at all, it was barely there. These cheap stuff don't probably work the way that medical stuff is supposed to work, and so I think I'm not gonna buy it, and I definitely need to do so much more research before I ever invest in something like that. That's it for the video. Thank you for watching. Bye.